Hola, buenos noches, and good evening. This is your weekly news report, and I'm your host, Pedro. A jury found Meta and YouTube negligent in the design or operation of their social media platforms, producing a bellwether verdict in the first lawsuit to take tech giants to trial for social media addiction. The Los Angeles County Superior Court jury said that Meta's and YouTube's negligence were a substantial factor in causing harm to the plaintiff, identified in court by her initials, KGM, and that the companies failed to adequately warn users of the dangers of Instagram, Meta's platform, and YouTube, which is owned by Google. It awarded KGM $3 million in compensatory damages, finding Meta 70% responsible for harm caused to the now 20-year-old plaintiff, and YouTube responsible for 30%. The trial, which began last month in a Los Angeles County courtroom and included testimony from Mark Zuckerberg and other tech executives, was the first in a consolidated group of cases brought against Meta and other companies by more than 1,600 plaintiffs, including over 350 families and over 250 school districts. Spokespeople for Meta and Google said the companies disagree with the verdict and plan to appeal. The jury decided on $2.1 million in punitive damages for Meta and $900,000 for YouTube, totaling $3 million. It's a small fraction of the $1 billion in punitive damages the plaintiff's counsel sought. Now here's Rafa with our next top story.
Amid the West's worst snow drought in modern history, several ski areas are attempting a novel approach, storing up artificial snow and preserving it until next ski season. Known as snow farming, the practice involves making snow when conditions are ideal in cold, dry weather and piling it 2 to 3 stories high, then covering the mound with a large, insulated mat to shield it from sun and rain. When a ski resort wants to open in the fall, it can spread the snow back over runs, rather than relying on the weather. The technology is more common in Europe, but finding a foothold in the United States, as snowfall has become less reliable. This year, small ski areas in Wisconsin, Idaho, and Utah are trying their hand at snow farming, a sign that new, work-intensive interventions are becoming a necessity as the ski industry grapples with climate change. This winter has been a stunner for Western states. By mid-March, every major basin in the West was experiencing its warmest or second warmest winter on record and had a snow deficit, according to the U.S. Drought Monitor. Then, a record-breaking heat wave last week zapped much of the remaining snow, raising wildfire concerns and spurring water use restrictions in places like Denver. Several states, including Colorado and Utah, reported their lowest snowpacks on record. Some ski areas never opened or offered limited operations. Many resorts are closing early before April begins. Now we send it back to Pedro for our next top story.
On Friday, the S&P 500 closed down 1.7% and notched its 5th straight weekly decline, its worst stretch since 2022 and a sign of rapidly faltering confidence in a swift resolution to the Iran war. Since the U.S. attacked Iran on February 28th, the S&P 500 has declined about 7%. The Dow Jones Industrial Average fell 1.7% Friday and has lost nearly 4,000 points since the start of the war. It is now down more than 10% from its most recent high, a correction in technical terms. The tech-heavy Nasdaq fell further into correction territory Friday, closing down 2% and off 13% since its record close in October. Oil prices also rose sharply, with U.S. crude topping $100 a barrel and global Brent crude at approximately $114 at around 4 p.m. ET. The yield on the 10-year Treasury note surged to 4.4%, the highest since last summer. Some energy stocks, like Exxon, traded near all-time highs. Shortly after stock markets had closed Thursday, the president announced he was pausing attacks on Iranian energy sites for 10 days, but stocks barely budged. The disruption to flows of oil and gas has been so substantial that transport costs, and ultimately the price paid per barrel, are likely to stay elevated indefinitely. Even when the Strait of Hormuz, which Iran has used as a choke point to drive concessions from the West, eventually reopens, the cost of transiting through it has likely gone up for the foreseeable future. Now here's Ariana with a look at your weather forecast.
Hello, I'm your chief meteorologist, Ariana, with a look at your weather forecast for the week ahead. A low-pressure system will bring snow to New England and thunderstorms to the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic on Sunday. A low-pressure system will track across the Northeast Sunday with wintry weather on the northern side of the system, with 4 to 8 inches of snow forecast across the New England region. Another low-pressure system will bring rain and mountain snow to the Pacific Northwest, followed by rain and snow for parts of the northeastern parts of the country. A dominant ridge over the southwestern deserts region will expand eastward, bringing warm temperatures and increased potential for wildfires to portions of the central U.S. by midweek. The western ridge begins to degrade due to an approaching Pacific trough by next weekend. A low-pressure system moving down from Canada will bring rain and mountain snow to the Pacific Northwest beginning Wednesday and will also bring snow across the Great Lakes region later in the week. And massive ridge will continue to generate record-breaking temperatures for the southwestern deserts region for the first half of the week before breaking down later in the week, which will lead to temperatures starting to come down. Now, here's a look at your 7-day forecast for the Phoenix, Arizona area. The week will start with unseasonably warm temperatures with highs in the mid to upper 90s for the first part of the week. Temperatures should begin to come down later in the week with sunny skies most of the week with a few cloudy days as well. Low temperatures will be on the mild side for this time of year, with lows in the mid to upper 60s most of the week. Now we send it back to Pedro.
That will do it for this week's weekly news report. As always, thank you for watching and have a great week. Como siempre, gracias por ver el video y que tengáis una buena semana.